That's something else. Anybody that does not follow George Takei on Facebook or Twitter, you need to do that.
Is that the Star Trek Asia dude?
Yes.
Okay. I understand.
You could also use his character name.
Can't remember his character name. I just know it's the flamboyant Asian Star Trek guy.
He was not flamboyant.
He's flamboyant
George
now.
Takei is.
George,
yes.
Yeah.
Sulu.
Yeah, I haven't done very much sci-fi reading lately. I haven't been reading.
I have no stomach for nonfiction.
What do I normally read? Crap, I don't even remember before I started to talk about Ice and Fire, I don't even remember what the last book I read was. I like reading scary stories. I think I have a collection of H.P. Lovecraft, so I've been reading a lot of his stuff. I think that's the thing. I think that's what I was reading. I have a bunch of random. Yeah, it's a bunch of like horror stuff on my Kindle. If I'm not reading sci-fi, I'm reading random horror stories. Like I've read all of Stephen King.
Yeah. My nose is either going to be buried in a sci-fi novel or some dry technical computer manual of some sort or another. Let's see, I've read just about every Star Wars novel that has ever been published, up through the new Jedi Order series. I stopped reading after that. I think like
it is Raylight.
Rogue Planet was one of the last few novels that I read in the Star Wars expanded universe.
I think the last.
And of course, Disney bought out all of that stuff, and I'm just upset. But anyhow,
I think the last science fiction book that I read was Ender's Game.
I did not read that one. I did watch the movie, and the interesting part is like I saw that coming from the onset.
Yeah. What other books? Like I've read a lot of. Whenever I make the car trip home, to visit my family, that's a 7-hour drive for me. Do books on tape, and I listen to a lot of sci-fi novels that way. What is it? I can't remember the name of the series, or I've had to look him up so many times.
A horror series?
No, it's sci-fi. Ice 9 is like
Ice 9.
It's not that's not the name of the book, and it's not obviously the name of the author, but there's a story talks about Ice 9, and it's like post-apocalyptic thing. It's the guy who does Slaughterhouse 9, who wrote Slaughterhouse 9.
Okay.
It starts with a V. I'm gonna Google it. No, Slaughterhouse 5, not Slaughterhouse 9. Thinking about Ice 9. Kurt Vonnegut.
And by read, you mean listen to.
Listen to. Ice 9 is Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle, is the name of the book. So I've listened to a bunch of Kurt Vonnegut. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress.
That was an awesome movie. Nobody has seen it.
What other? It's a bunch of like. I can't ever remember names, and I'm pink again. Camera, hello. Not pink, thank you. No, I'm pink. I have to sit up. There we go. It's weird. Depending on. I had this conversation with Redlor before we started recording. My top is white, and my camera or my headset is white, and like my webcam has white balance, and it's making me pink in respect to all of the white that's going on. And of course, Redlor's solution to the problem was for me to take my top off, but that's not gonna happen. So it's depending on like if I'm slouching. See, now I'm pink. I'm like bright pink. If I sit up and I like put my hand so it has something to pick up, yeah, now I'm not pink anymore. It's weird.
It's a solution. You know, I fix problems every day. That's what I do. People come to me, they have problems, and I fix them. It's part of being an IT.
People come to me with problems, and I call them an idiot, and I fix them.
Yeah, well, there's this thing called customer service.
I worked as a cashier for 6 years. I understand customer service. I am bloody sick of customer service.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
officially
I
hit
get it.
I've officially hit the mentality of like I'm gonna be. I used to be the kind of person that I was super nice to everybody. Like I was very much a people pleaser. Like I was too nice. It screwed me. It screwed me so
Yep.
hard that I'm too nice of a person. So like since school started and I've been stressed out from school anyways, I've gotten to be kind of a bitch. But that's it's I'm only a bitch in comparison to how nice I used to be super nice. Like if you compare me to a normal person, I'm not a bitch. If you compare me to my old self, I'm a massive bitch.
Why?
Because I'm not nice anymore. Because fuck people.
That's not very nice.
That type of behavior will get you labeled as a slut.
Oh. Hey, not that kind of fuck people. Not that kind.
I couldn't help it. Sorry. No, I'm not.
Have you know I'm making pouty faces. You're my
So yeah,
feelings.
me and a coworker were discussing today. He's like, man, he says I need a. So if I say rubber poop monster, is that any context for you at all?
No.
No. Have you seen Dogma, the Kevin Smith flick?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so in the Kevin Smith flick Dogma, there is a poop monster, and it was Kevin Smith's movies are low budget, right? Everybody kind of knows that, but it's like it's a rubber poop monster suit, right? So people were offended by people were offended by the movie because it discusses religion in a very kind of very different angle anyhow, and apparently lots of people were up in arms over the movie. He's like, really, you're up in arms over a movie that has a big rubber poop monster in it? Really? Are you serious? So anyhow, yeah, it's rubber poop monster.
Rubber poop
It's one of
monster.
those things.
Okay.
You're like, are you serious? It's just a big fucking rubber poop monster. Come on.
What was this in regards to?
So when we have issues at work, like so, I invented a process at work because I administer desktop machines. I invented the process for building some of our desktops. And I wrote a document. Like, this is how you make a machine from start to finish. You install all of the software that's required from A to Z.
Yeah, it's a manual.
It was like an outline, numbered outline. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Click here, click there, do this, do that. It didn't leave a lot of things open for interpretation.
Oh, fuck artistic interpretation with a big fat stick, because that's the biggest issue that I deal with every day is people taking artistic license on steps.
Yeah, no, see, the problem was kind of exactly the opposite. The people whose job it was to use this process would rather not read it and just try to do it their way instead. So, and the worst part is in the position that I was in at the time, when they had problems, they would come to me and say, hey, I need help with this. It's not working. And, the first several hundred times, I was like, okay, well, that's cool. Let's look at this, and this. And I would start looking and realize that they've not followed any of the process whatsoever. So, God, there's a lot of context to give you for this story. I went to my boss and I'm like, hey, boss, this isn't working. I'm going to take a lot of time to reinvent this process. And he's like, you got to do what you got to do. And essentially he told me to stop answering my phone in the meantime. So anyhow, so what did I do with this process? Well, I made a flowchart out of it.
Flowcharts!
Now, and not just any flowchart. Like it's a clickable image map flowchart. Okay, so there's a start, And each of the steps along the way has clickable, like the element in the flowchart is clickable. And when you click on that element, it takes you to an individual document. So instead of one great big monolithic wall of words for this process, I now have lots of teeny tiny individual documents.
With pictures, because people need pictures.
No, there weren't pictures in the documents, but the image map was clickable, or the flowchart was a clickable image map, and you could click on an individual element, and it would take you to that document. Now, in addition to that, because it was kind of a flowchart that didn't have a lot of decision change points in it, right? It was a straight flow through. There weren't a lot of splits. There weren't a lot of yes nos. It's like, is this a blah? Yes, no. And anyhow, it was very much like one step led to the next. There wasn't a lot of decisions. So in addition to the image map, once you started in the actual documentation, there was a link at the top and the bottom to take you to the next step. Okay. Right? So like, okay, I'm on this step here where I have to burn a CD. Okay. And then at the top of the page, oh crap. I just emptied the water barrel.
Seriously?
Yep.
How thirsty are you?
I'm not, thankfully.
Okay. I'm at half thirst. If I drink my vessel, I'll be at full thirst, and then I'm gonna wait until I get the slowness debuff, and then I'll drink my jug, and then we'll go fill the barrel.
So anyhow, in addition to the image map, the way I created the individual documents is that they linked from one to the next. All you had to do was click next, and it would take you to the next document. So anyhow, in this flowchart, there was only one stop sign place where people would stop what they're doing and then come ask me a question because something had broken.
Okay.
And initially, it was a brown-colored stop sign, and it said "Poop Monster" on it. And I published it, and me and my boss got a chuckle out of it. We both thought it was funny, haha. And people started landing on it. And they would call me, they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, you're on the poop monster step, aren't you? They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay. Well, you're following the process. Good for you. Have you done A, B, and C?" No, I haven't. I'm like, "Okay. Well, if you back up 4 steps from the poop monster stop sign, you'll see steps A, B, and C." "Oh yeah, I totally missed those." So they demonstrated their inability to follow a written document, and then they continued by showing their inability to use a flowchart. It's a picture. It's a picture. It's a picture.
People don't know how to follow instructions. Like
it's a picture.
Plain and simple.
It was a picture.
I know.
Picture
people don't know.
that they can click on.
They can't follow arrows with their eyes.
Like I took a lot of the guesswork out of it. Anyhow, so.
Hey guys, by the way.
Hi, Lutz.
Hey, what's up, Lutz? Silas is here too, I think. He's probably just listening. Yeah, so the poop monster became kind of synonymous with ding-dong people that I have to work with from day to day. Yeah. So one of my coworkers today, he says, "Dude, I need a rubber poop monster suit so I can go visit some people." And he and I both laughed. And I said, I've felt that way for a very long time about several people, but I suspect that the only way you can clearly communicate your complete distaste with their actions is to just go and poop on their desk. And, oh, hang on. I'm being texted from the other room.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah, pretty much,
All right, hang on. I've been asked if I can take it down a notch. Hang on. Go ahead, Katie.
Okay. Since school started up, I've had to, tone it down on how much I do, on the forums and everything. I haven't updated the wiki in a while, that kind of stuff, because school takes priority. Where was I going with this? Crap. Oh, so with 79 coming out, and we had Packrat do a testing stream. And since then, we've gotten, a couple people asking, "Oh, how can I, do pre-release testing," kind of thing. Packrat got a pre-release copy, how do I get a pre-release copy, kind of thing. And our usual policy with it is TFC is open source. If you are competent enough to compile it from this source without our help,
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Let us know if you find any bugs, kind of thing. At the same time, we got a recent post on, in the discussion forum, there is a post or a topic about donations. Because, you know, Biox, Dunk, and I all have donation buttons. Biox's and Dunk's buttons are at the top of every page on the forums. Mine is on the sidebar of the wiki if you guys want to click it. Shameless plug. But somebody had suggested, you know, using Patreon. You're familiar with Patreon, yes?
I am not.
Okay, so
I'm not either.
do you guys know what Kickstarter is?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so Patreon, the best way, and I'm probably going to butcher this, so if people from Patreon are watching this, I'm sorry, this is my interpretation of your system. Patreon is like Kickstarter, except for that it is a monthly subscription. So, like, you say, I will donate X dollars a month to this person, and, like, you start donating at that moment. And then when the total number of donations per month that the Patreon page gets hits certain customizable thresholds, so, like, I'm getting $100 a month in donations now, you set up rewards. So, like, a common thing with, like, super popular YouTubers is when they hit certain Patreon rewards, they stop monetizing their videos because they're getting enough money per month from Patreon that they don't have to, you know,
Nice.
do that. Another thing that they can do, obviously that's a global reward. It affects everybody. You can do Patreon specific rewards. So it'll be like, if I get X dollars per month, I will start a YouTube series that I will only give, like, it'll be private, unlisted videos, but if you're a Patreon, you'll get the link to the video so you can watch it, kind of thing. So it's perks for only the people that are paying. When it comes to mod developers, a lot of them use Patreon for, like, beta testing. So you pay a monthly subscription. If we hit the threshold, everybody who is donating to us, it doesn't matter what amount you're donating, as long as you're donating to us, you can get beta access to playtest. And Biox's eyes, like, obviously I don't do face cam with him or anything like that, but I can imagine that his eyes kind of lit up when he thought of that kind of thing, because it's, yes, TFC, like, it's a hobby kind of thing, but I mean, he doesn't work, so it's, if he can find ways to make money off the mod that he feels legitimate, he's all for it.
Yep.
So, like, so the possibility of Patreon, if a Patreon page ever gets set up for people to pay to get beta access. So the problem with this is that you get stupid people with money that become beta testers. Instead of, as it currently is, all of our beta testers are competent, which they prove by the fact that they compiled the mod by themselves. So, the whole point of this big long-winded story, today, while talking with Biox, I said, I officially called dibs on at least 10% of any proceeds that we get if you set up Patreon beta testers. Like, if you're getting money for beta testers, I'm calling dibs on at least 10% because I'm the one that's dealing with them and I'm getting paid. I'm not doing this if I'm not getting paid for it.
Especially if you're going to end up supporting any of them, yeah.
I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm absolutely perfectly, the work that I currently do, just with the forums and the wiki and just, like, general support that I do, I am happy to do that for free. Like, I don't take any of the ad revenue from the sites or any of that. I have a donation button on the wiki. You're welcome to send money my way if you feel like such doing so. But, like, I do it because I get a sense of satisfaction out of doing it, and I can put it on my resume someday. But if it comes to the point where I am dealing with people who are paying to get access to this mod, and when you introduce money into the equation, there is a higher sense of entitlement from.
Yep.
So, if I have to deal with that, I can't do that for free. I'm gonna get a cut of it.
Yeah. I completely understand that. I only wish that my YouTube channel were doing better, that I could quit my day job and just play games
right?
and make videos for people. Oh, so, right. I originally started the conversation with, I fix things for a living, right? So my coworker, I recommended pooping on people's desks to show them his distaste with them. He's like, yeah, but I need them to be more publicly shamed than that. Like, I need everybody else around them to know that, they're... And I remember sitting there at my desk going, oh, yeah, that's just pooping on their desk at night when nobody's around doesn't solve that problem. And I was like, I've got it. You just need to walk up to their desk in the middle of the day while they're sitting there and everybody else is around, and just climb up on the desk.
And drop a deuce. And
drop trow and just pile one right there on their keyboard while they're sitting at the desk and everybody else is watching. I said either that or you're left with, like leaving it during the evening and then putting like a little toothpick flag in it that says, I was here. He's like, yeah, no, I need everybody else to know. I'm like, then just do it while everybody's in the office. And I followed up with that by telling him that, if it weren't for the fact that I would get fired and potentially be charged with a felonious crime, I'd have done it to people before now. Because, man. Yeah, and then I had some user not yesterday. It was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. She had some problems with some of her files. One of the servers lost her files, and we went and recovered them. Everything was all hunky dory. She lost about 4 to 6 hours of work, but it was better than not having anything. Apparently, it was a high-profile project, and she assumes now that because those were the only files that went missing, clearly somebody was messing in it, and because this is a high-profile project, it could cost the company a lot of money. So clearly, somebody stole them. So then I had to go through all of our logging information and show her that nobody else had accessed or changed the information. Like, I can't just tell her that, correlation is not causation. I'm sorry. It's just not the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
People.
People that are not in IT. Pretty much.
Man.
So, to answer the question that was originally started, and then we just got completely off topic.
Man, you have no idea.
The topic was, what is Kitty studying in school?
Yes, what is Kitty studying in school?
Okay, so we're gonna do the long version of this. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna go pee, and then we're gonna do the long version of this, okay?
Okay, well, while you do that, it is daytime out. I'm going to try and get down the barrel and go fill it up.
Or just go swap it with a full one.